Hi everyone, welcome back to the garage. So this week, what am I going to do? I'm going to get this engine completely built up. I know I said I would last week, and I lied to you all. That wasn't intentional, but I was feeling rough. I was feeling seriously rough last week. Much better now though, so thanks for the words of best wishes from everybody. The hair's gone. Decided it was time for that to be eradicated. So yeah, took the chop. So, but I think I looked at myself last week and I thought, what the hell do you look like? Anyway, enough of that. That's not what you're here for. So I'm going to get on with this, but as I'm sure all of you have experienced when you're working in a garage, before I can get on with this, first thing I need to do is to pack away all the stuff that we took to the beach the other week, because it's all over the place. So let me get tidied up, get this stuff put away, then we'll get on that engine. Okay, I've cleared some space. The bikes are outside in the rain, covered up, but I now can get on with getting some work done. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to reassemble the top end of this. I think the first thing I need to do is take the cover off so I can get to the rotor, so I can turn that and set all the timing marks up. So it's rotating around so I can actually get to the bit that I need to get to. Cool. As I start this reassembly, I'm going to just make sure that all these timing marks are properly marked up. So that there is top dead centre. That's the firing line. So that bottom line is at top dead centre. Now I've got to put all the cam in, and I'm going to do that. Put a load of oil in there at the same time. Make sure it's assembled wet. So let's put some oil in now, and then we'll put the top in and align it. A little tiny dab of Loctite. Now I'm putting these in. I think these are all lined up. I'll talk the other one in a moment. Let's just rotate the engine. There we go. I can put the other bolt in now. So 13 foot-pounds on those with Loctite. And let's just recheck the timing marks. Okay. I'll take that around 180 degrees, there we go. Alright. So those timing marks. That is on top dead centre. There's a line there which is parallel with the case. There's a line there parallel with the case, and there's this here which is pointing directly upwards. That is the mechanical timing. Done. Cool. Bit more oil. And then we'll go for it. And lifters. That one's going to go on there. And that one, with its two dowels, is going to go on there. So pressed in. And now back to my bolts, which when I removed I marked and kept in situ, and they've been in that position ever since. So that is now just a simple question of lifting these each out. Oops, he says. And they just go back into their original positions. Making sure the elephants have still got their washers. You can see the rubber, still a bit of rubber on that one, but it's come off of this one, but that's no longer a problem. Cool. We'll get all those started. So each one of these, I'm just going to make sure, just with my fingers, just make sure that nothing is cross-threaded, and they all go down nice and smoothly. Because there shouldn't be a whole load of resistance on these. If I have any problems now, I need to stop. Those are a little bit stiff on the front. They're feeling resistance. Just a little bit of resistance. That one I can't do with my fingertips. So let's just make sure, give those a clean up and try again. So these met some resistance, so I'm just cleaning them up with a wire brush, and hopefully should go down smoother this time. Still feels a bit stiff. Okay, alright. Clean them all up anyway before we proceed. Okay, so that's all 8 head bolts, just pinch tight, done nice and gently, making sure there's nothing cross-threaded. Right, next thing is to torque these up. So let me get that ready and we'll get that done. Right, so tightening sequence is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I've done stages. So I'll just go around a couple of times. Yes. Yes. That's it. Final check. Yep. 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 That's it. Torqued up. Okay. Just double checking all the valve clearances. I've adjusted them all. So I've got point. There we go. Come on, in you go. Got. That's it. Can't see, but so there we go. So it's just nicely dragging on the feeler gauge through there. So that's 0.12 mil, and these are exhaust of 0.16. Just got these last ones at the back to adjust up. So under compression, we take the engine up through one revolution. Put it back on TDC. Now these are loose and they can be adjusted. Now with it all put back together, just rotate it round by hand. Just make sure everything's moving smoothly. That's one rotation. There's another. Cool. Everything feels good. It all feels smooth. No clunks, no bangs. Perfect. Right, let's get the top cover on. So now trying to work out what I might be able to fit on this frame. Just taking the front end apart, trying to take a few readings. So 48.5 mil inside there, 175 mil from there to there. So 175 mil from there. So how does that compare on here? So that's from there to, yeah. So from the bottom of there yeah, okay. Okay, that's everything put back together for the end of the day. So I've got some basic measurements for the front end. I've found someone with an XL front yoke. I'm going to try and ask them for measurements for that and see if it's even vaguely close. If it looks like it might be a runner, I'll go with that, because what I want to try and do is get a sturdier set of front forks, and then I can marry that up to a 21-inch front wheel. And I think that's what I want on the bike. So I'm going to really try and take it to something more like, you know, a scrambler of the 70s era. So I think that's what I'm aiming towards, and obviously that with a 250 twin engine will just make it a bit different, bit unique. So that's my plan there. The engine I've just had a quick clean up of, so it's nearly ready to go back in the frame. But my problem here is I've got the bolts for the rear engine mounts, so they're sat waiting, but I don't have the bolts for the front engine mounts, which are long and thin. So I need to measure those up, get some of those bolts on order, because I know I haven't got anything long enough to go all the way through the bracket that bolts on here, and then it needs to go through the front of the engine on here as well, so 2 through that and 2 through the frame. So once I've got those bolts, then I'm gonna offer that engine into the frame, which will then, I believe, allow me to carefully measure the offset between the front sprocket and the rear sprocket, because at the moment the rear wheel is in alignment, but the sprocket is too far over to the left. So I'm going to have to move the wheel to the right, which is going to cause me a couple of issues, because I think that's going to move the tyre off centre, which I clearly don't want. So I think that might need a bit of careful rebuilding, but I believe it's possible. So once I've got the measurements and I understand what I need to do, then I can make the next steps. But for now, I think that is all I have time for this weekend. So please, thank you very much for your continued support and understanding. I've got some challenges, I've got some things I don't know, some things I don't understand. But your help and guidance is very much appreciated. So please continue to give me any suggestions and tips you can think of. Until now though, but until next time, thank you very much. Goodbye.